Chapter 18. Locating places on maps and globes. Let's learn uses of maps, types of maps, features of maps, model of the Earth. We know that the globe helps us to see the size, shape and location of places on the Earth. The globe is an accurate model of the Earth, but it has some drawbacks. Because of these drawbacks, we generally use maps. A map is drawn on a flat surface, such as paper. It shows how things are related to each other by distance, direction, and size. It is easy to carry and can be rolled, folded, or even put in a book. A map can show many things that a globe cannot show, and as a result, it serves the purposes of locating places and studying distribution trends in a much better way than a globe. Uses of maps. Maps can be drawn to show continents, countries, states, districts, towns, villages, and even a part of a town or a village. Some features such as landforms, roads, railways, neighborhood, and even our schools or classrooms can be shown better on maps as compared to a globe. Types of maps. Physical maps. They show the location and extent of mountains, plains, plateaus, oceans, rivers, etc. Political maps. They show countries, administrative divisions, cities, towns, and villages. Thematic maps. They show details of a certain theme, like the distribution of rainfall, forests, crops, weather, soil, roads, etc. A map can be drawn on a large as well as small scale. Flemish map maker Gerard Mercator was the first publisher to make a collection of maps in the form of a book. A book of maps is called an atlas. The maps in an atlas are on a small scale and show general information about a large area. However, maps also have some limitations. The Earth's shape is spherical and its surface is curved. It is not possible that a flat surface, such as paper, can show a curved surface accurately. However, a map is more useful to study the Earth and its features. Features of maps. People who make maps are called cartographers. They use scale, directions, distances, colors, sign and symbols, latitudes and longitudes. All these are languages of a map. Directions. While we go home from our school, we turn either right or left. The words left and right show the direction of our passage on our way home. Similarly, maps show the directions with the help of an arrow, usually drawn on the right-hand margin of the map. The arrow is marked with the letter N, which means that it is pointing towards the north direction. If we know the north direction, it is easy to find the other three directions. While north is at the top of the map, south is always at the bottom of the map. To the left is the west, and the east lies to the right of the map. Besides the four directions, there are also sub-directions. Northeast lies between the north and the east. Northwest lies between the north and the west. Southeast lies between the south and the east. Southwest lies between the south and the west. Scale. We know that the Earth is very big and a map is much smaller than the Earth's actual size. So, a map cannot show the actual size of the Earth. That is why scales are used in maps. Let us suppose that the distance between two cities is 200 kilometers. On the map, it is shown by a smaller unit as 2 centimeters. Then, the scale of the map is 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometers. On a map, an actual distance of 200 will be shown as 2 centimeters. Thus, the ratio between the distance on the ground and on the map is known as the scale of the map. Maps are always drawn according to a scale. The scale of a map is represented as a line with distances marked on it. The scale of 1 centimeter is equal to 100 kilometers is represented in this way. There are three main ways of showing the scale on a map. by a written statement like 2 centimeter is equal to 2 kilometer or 2 inch is equal to 2 miles. By a linear scale, a line is divided into a number of equal parts. Each part of the line represents ground distance which is marked on the scale. By representative fraction, a representative fraction, RF, is the ratio of distance on the map to distance on the ground. It is always expressed as a ratio. Example, 1:100,000, where 1 centimeter is equal to 1,000,000 centimeter or 1 inch is equal to 1,000,000 inches. There are two main types of maps according to scale. Large-scale maps. They show small areas. Example, a locality or a colony in great detail. Maps of a city, town or village are large-scale maps. Small-scale maps. They show large areas like a country or a continent with little details. They only provide the general information of a large area. The map of India is a small-scale map. Color. Cartographers use different colors to show various physical features on a map. Generally, maps follow a standard color scheme. We can see the color scheme of a physical map as given below. Water bodies like seas, oceans and rivers are always shown in blue. Light blue shows shallow water and dark blue shows deep waters. Plains or lowlands on maps are shown in green. Highlands and mountains are shown in orange and brown. Orange shows plateaus, dark brown shows high mountains and light brown shows lower mountains and hills. Snow-covered areas are shown in white. Signs and symbols. The legend or key of a map shows the height of the land or depth of the water above or below sea level. It also explains the various types of signs or symbols used on the map to represent different information. These symbols are drawn in different colors and letters. These common symbols are called conventional symbols. The use of signs and symbols makes the map quicker and easier to read. Model of the Earth. The globe is a small model of the Earth. It helps us to see correctly the shapes and sizes of the continents and oceans, distances, directions, etc. It also shows the shape and location of countries and the location of important cities. As we know that we cannot see the whole Earth from space because it is so big. Even photographs taken by astronauts show only half the Earth. The study of the Earth is not so easy without seeing it completely. Thus, we need such a man-made object or model to study the Earth. This object or model which makes it easier for us is called a globe. You must have seen a globe in your school. We can only see half the globe at one time. The other half is hidden, but we can see the other half by rotating the globe. It is turned around a line passing through it. This line is called the axis. The Earth constantly rotates around its axis of rotation. The axis of rotation of the globe is made to be fixed. It is often made to rotate around a rod that pierces it at the poles. The rod, which serves as the axis of the globe, is attached to a stand. The axis is usually inclined at an angle of 23.50 degrees, the amount by which the Earth's axis is tilted off the vertical axis. Info Hive. The earliest extant terrestrial globe was made in 1492 by Martin Behem with the help of the painter George Glockendorn. Latitudes. Horizontal lines on the globe are lines of latitudes. They are known as parallels because they run parallel to the equator. Latitude is a geographic coordinate that specifies the north-south position of a point on the Earth's surface. It is an angle which ranges from 0 degree at the equator to 90 degree at the poles. The number of latitude degrees will be larger the further away from the equator the place is located. all the way up to 90 degrees latitude at the poles. The North Pole is 90 degrees north and the South Pole is 90 degrees south. Important parallels. Other than the equator, 0 degree, the North Pole 90 degrees north and the South Pole 90 degrees south, there are 4 other important parallels. These are 1. The Tropic of Cancer 23.5 degrees north. 2. The Arctic Circle 66.5 degrees north. 3. The Tropic of Capricorn 23.5 degrees south. 4. The Antarctic Circle 66.5 degrees south. Longitudes. Vertical lines on the globe are lines of longitudes, also known as meridians. Meridians are a numerical way to show or measure how far a location is east or west of a universal vertical line called the prime meridian. This prime meridian line runs vertically north to south right over the British Royal Observatory in Greenwich, England, from the North Pole to the South Pole. Thus, the baseline longitude for measuring longitudes, the prime meridian, is numbered 0 degree longitude. To measure longitudes east or west of the prime meridian, there are 180 vertical longitude lines east of the prime meridian and 180 vertical longitude lines west of the prime meridian. The 180 degree line is a single vertical line called the International Date Line. It is directly opposite of the prime meridian. So, there are 360 longitudes perpendicularly intersecting the equator at equal intervals of 1 degree each. Thus, the longitude of a place tells you how much east or west of the Greenwich meridian or prime meridian the place is located. The meridian of 180 degree east and 180 degree west is the same line. Halfway around the globe from the prime meridian is longitude 180 degree. Locating places. Latitudes and longitudes make a network of lines on the globe. This is called a grid. It helps to identify the location of places or features on the globe. To locate a place, we must know the values of its latitude, parallel and longitude meridian. The numerical values of the latitude and the longitude of a place are called the coordinates of that place. For example, Delhi is located on the globe, where 29 degree north latitude and 77 degree east longitude cross each other. So, the location of Delhi, 29 degree north, 77 degree east. Recap. Physical maps show the location of mountains, plains, plateaus, oceans, rivers, etc. Political maps show countries, administrative divisions, cities, towns and villages. If we know the north direction, it is easy to find the other 3 directions. The Earth's axis is tilted at an angle of about 23.5 degrees Celsius from the vertical axis. A grid helps to identify the location of places or features on the globe. Coordinates pinpoint the exact location of a place or feature on the Earth.